Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gent Sense. How are you? Hope you're well. So one thing that I've talked about for a while now is fragrance clones and how their presentations sometimes are just the most hideous thing you've ever seen in your entire life. This one here, I can't decide. Is this actually pretty good or is it horrifically ugly? So this guy right here is Lattafa Maahir Legacy, and I've actually had this for quite a while. I got it when it very first came into stock on Fragrance Buy's website, and I had to give it some wear. You know, I had to figure out what exactly does this remind me of. And then when it clicked, it clicked. In today's video, I'm going to be going over this fragrance with you guys, showing you the presentation, and on top of everything else, there's also a special code associated with the fragrance today. Only through Fragrance Buy's website, and it will get you 35% off one of your choice of two other big clone fragrances. Hawas or 9 AM Dive, your choice. So let's jump into it. Let's check this out. Let's go over all the details. Of course, I will have these linked in the description below. Feel free to go ahead and check them out down there. First off, let's tackle the code and all of that information. So the code is BLUEGENTS. Yeah, BLUEGENTS, BLUEGENTS. It's only gonna run for 2 days. So as of Sunday at 11:59 p.m. this coming Sunday, so the 19th, and that's Eastern time, the code will be no more. So what BLUEGENTS does is if you buy one bottle of this guy, Maahir Legacy, you will get 35% off your choice of either Hawas or 9 AM Dive. If you buy two bottles for some reason of the Lattafa, then you'll get 35% off one bottle of this and one bottle of this, or two bottles of this, or two bottles of this. If you bought three of the Lattafa, I have no clue why you would do that, but if you did that, you could get 35% off three of your choice between these two. You get the idea, right? Buy one, get one 35% off. Hawas, of course, extremely, enormously popular. One of the most popular fragrances from the house of Rasasi, and this one has kind of an Invictus Aqua vibe to it. Very fresh and sweet, has that kind of bubblegum vibe to it. Huge people pleaser, big compliment puller. You know about Hawas, right? I mean, this one's a hype monster. 9 AM Dive, a newer clone fragrance. This one, of course, a follow-up to 9 PM. It's by the House of Afnan, and this is another one. Very fresh and sweet. Has kind of a Bleu de Chanel meets Spice Bomb Night Vision vibe to it, closer to the Eau de Toilette version of Spice Bomb Night Vision. So a twist of sorts. Some people would say it leans closer to the Spice Bomb between those two fragrances. But yeah, 9 AM Dive, Hawas, those are the two that you can get at 35% off. All right, let's check out the presentation for this Lattafa, and it is a unique one. So here we have the box. You've got the name of the house, name of the fragrance on the front, little certificate of authenticity up in the corner, and it looks like a little castle window or something like that. And you can see the fragrance sitting inside of the box through that cutout. On one side, you have a QR code and the Lattafa website. On the other side, you have your concentration and size, Eau de Parfum 100 ml. On the back, you have your ingredient information. And then you take off the slipcover, like so. And you have this, this little piece of cardboard that comes out, which gives you access to where the bottle sits inside the foam cutout. So yeah, a lot going on here with this box. There's nothing else to see here other than on the bottom, remove these ribbons, you have your badge code on the bottom there. And here is the bottle. It's heavy in the hand, very reflective, obviously, and a fingerprint magnet, which is kind of annoying. You have the name of the house, name of the fragrance on the front right there. Has this interesting, intriguing horse head cap, which is pretty heavy. And it does click into place. Listen, there it is. Not super strong, but yeah. Then on the bottom, a simple sticker. All right, let's go ahead and share a couple sprays here. Let's see how the atomizer works. Pretty smooth, actually. As far as clone fragrance atomizers goes, this is a good one. So for this one, I couldn't find an official note breakdown. I did reach out to Fragrance Buy, and they were able to get me the note breakdown for the fragrance. So I'll go ahead and share that with you guys here today because I think it's a little bit difficult to find this one. So we've got a top of lime, grapefruit, lavender, spearmint, and pineapple, a mid of juniper, rosemary, olibanum, geranium, and black pepper, and a base of vetiver, cashmeran, ambroxan, oak moss, and tonka bean. So there you go. There's the note breakdown for the fragrance, just in case you've been looking around and you can't find it. So as I said, when I got this one in, didn't know immediately what exactly it was supposed to be a clone of or what it was supposed to be similar to. The only thing I had to go off of was it is a silver bottle with a horse head named Legacy, which is not too much to go on. Sprayed it on and I was like, yeah, that's very familiar. Reminds me of a few different things. And I had to start doing that deal where you kind of go back and forth a little bit, contrast and compare to this thing, that thing, and the other thing, because it reminds you of something, but you can't immediately place what it is, which is very frustrating. And that happens sometimes with clone fragrances. Spray them on and you're like, yes, I know I've smelled this. No, I don't remember what it is. So it has a little bit of this like classic gentlemanly vibe to it. It's very fresh, a little sweet, but it had this gentlemanly kind of feeling. And so the first thing that I thought of was, well, maybe it's kind of like Beau de Jour, something like that. It's not. No, not at all. I sprayed Beau de Jour side by side with this, and this one is much fresher than Beau de Jour is. It's much more easygoing than Beau de Jour, you could say. Also for fun, I compared it to Eau Sauvage Eau de Toilette. Not at all like that one. Eau Sauvage Eau de Toilette, much more throwback style, much more classically masculine with a sharper influence coming from lemon in that one off the top. And then I was like, oh yeah, duh. Like, why didn't I think about this? It smells much more similar to something like Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce, or you could say Mont Blanc Legend to an extent, mixed together a little bit with something like Platinum Egoist from Chanel. So it's got that kind of vibe, you know, it has that wearability that Fierce and Legend has, but then it's a little bit classier than those, I would say, and that's where you're gonna get that little bit of an influence from Platinum Egoist. At least that's how it comes across to me off my skin. And when I compared them side by side, I realized, yeah, it's a lot closer to those. Because it has that sort of sweetness that Fierce and Legend has. It has that sort of lavender mixed together with sweet fruits and this modern kind of woody base to it. But then just with that again, touch of class brought up a bit. So you're going to get that lavender, that fruity pop off the top. You're going to get those aromatics, those fresh aromatics pretty much through the lifespan of the fragrance. You're going to get that warmth, that sweetness as it dries. It smells great. And I think it's just got huge versatility as far as when you could use it and who could wear the stuff. So older people, they could pull this off. Middle-aged guys, they could pull this off. Younger guys, they could pull this off. As long as they're not looking for something that's like hyper bubblegummy, because that's not this. And then as far as versatility goes, I mean, yeah, look at the fragrances I just compared it to. Those ones you can wear just about anywhere. Same deal with this guy right here. And the performance is solid as well. Lasts a long time, projects well off my skin. So a lot to like about it. And it's pretty affordable as well. When I got it, I think it was around 35 and some change US, something like that. Of course, it'll fluctuate a little bit up and down, as I always say, depending on the conversion between Canadian and US dollars at the time, but it's around that price point. And it does look like it's kind of presented as a higher quality Lattafa fragrance because they go through the hassle of having this multi-part box, you know, love it or hate it. I'm not a massive fan of the box. It's one of those deals where it's like trying to look more expensive than it actually is. Some people are gonna think it's really cool having the multi-piece box where you have the slip cover and then the other piece that you take off with the little window cut out and all that deal. And then the bottle, very heavy, very unique. I mean, when you see this, doesn't look like anything else out there. It does look like a step up, and the atomizer is, as I said before, pretty good here. So it seems like they invested a little more into the presentation here than some of the other fragrances, which would lead me to believe, perhaps incorrectly, but it would lead me to believe that they invested a little more into what's on the inside as well. It is very nicely done. The blend is good. I mean, it can stand toe to toe, shoulder to shoulder with those fragrances that I mentioned before. This is not one of those fragrances where you spray it on and it smells very rough, very chemically, very off-putting. None of that going on. You can pretty much take it and just spray it right on, go straight in. It's fine. The lime, the grapefruit, the citrus off the top, pretty prominent, but it's not done in a way that's off-putting, like I said. As far as seasons, I would say spring, summer, fall. Well, actually just about all the seasons, yeah. If you were gonna really, pinpoint it, I guess you could say spring and fall would be the best bet. Just that, more neutral weather setting, because this one isn't ultra fresh and it's not ultra heavy. So a lot of people would probably say spring and fall is like the sweet spot, but I think this is one you could pull off just about any time. Of course, get to know the fragrance and adjust your sprays up and down depending on where you're going, who you're going to be around, what you're doing, all that stuff, as always. And daytime, nighttime use leans a little more toward daytime use, I would say. Going to be a solid office fragrance, really solid, really good casual fragrance. And it's one that you could wear in slightly more formal situations, like semi-formal. It should work during just about anything realistically, but yeah. So there we go. Lattafa Maahir Legacy. Apologies if I'm completely butchering that pronunciation. I'm sure that I am. Wonderful, versatile scent. Under 40 bucks. Presentation, a little love it or hate it, but at least they put some work into it. And this is one that the more I've worn it, the more that I've liked it, just because I'm looking for some things that I can point out and say, they screwed this up, they screwed that up, but it's just really competently done here. So not too much to point out other than just, presentation. That's about it. It's a little, beauty is in the eye of the beholder type thing. Fragrance itself, though, really great for anybody that's looking for something versatile with a touch of class. And again, is gonna have a similarity to those fragrances I mentioned before. Again, that code only good for 2 days, and it's buy one of these legacies and get either Hawas or 9 AM Dive 35% off, which I believe should put Hawas and 9 AM Dive at like the cheapest price you could possibly get them at. All right, guys, that will do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me here until the end. Again, let me know in the comments, awesome looking or horrible. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.